This is the ElectroBike Light, and it is relatively light, as you'd expect, about 41.5 pounds. It's got a removable battery, so you can make it even lighter by 5 or 6 pounds right there. The front wheel does not have quick release, so you'd probably have to bring some tools or something if you wanted to take that off, but this is set up more like a city bike where you'd want to leave the wheels on at all times and try to make it a little harder for people to steal stuff. It does have a quick release seat tube collar right there, though. Keep that in mind. What makes this bike unique is that it has a Sturmey Archer 2-speed internally geared hub in the back, and it's kind of like a kick shift is what they call it, where you just pedal backwards a little bit and then pedal forward again, and it kind of automatically switches between the two gears. So that creates a really clean cockpit up here. You'll notice there are no shifters. There's no LCD display telling you anything. There's really only a twist throttle, which is like the whole handlebar. I don't want to activate the bike. There we go. The whole bar twist. So that's a mixed thing for me. It looks nice. It matches. But if you're going over some bumps or something, it's less secure for actually holding on when you're riding. You've got a V-brake up front and in the back. Tektro. Good stuff. Pretty quiet, this bike, riding around. There's no fenders or anything. You'll notice there's no bottle cage bosses, and the battery takes up that down tube, so you don't really have a lot of storage capacity. Maybe you could add a fender up front right there with a little hole. Same thing in the rear, but there are no bosses for adding a rear rack for utility, except for down here. And maybe you could kind of put something together. You probably could make a rack work, but that's one of the question marks in my mind about this bike. I guess it's a city bike. You're going to be riding it around like the Ride or some of these other bikes that I've seen, where it's just meant to be simple and kind of blend in. I don't think this blends in quite as much because it's just an aftermarket bottle style battery pack right there, and then the front hub motor. You could almost build something like this as a kit, but you'd probably spend more. This is about $1,400 what you're seeing here, and it does come with a year-long comprehensive warranty and 7 years on the frame, so pretty good stuff. There's a 12 magnet pedelec sensor right there. Very nice. You don't have to push for it to respond. It just sort of naturally listens for any kind of movement forward only, by the way, and it kicks the motor on. But you don't have, again, there's no display, so you can't really say low, medium, high. It's just always sort of like medium, which is all right, I guess. Again, 2 gears, better than 1, in my opinion. And then decent number of pretty responsive cadence sensors going on. Thankfully, they are pretty responsive because these Tektro levers don't have any motor inhibitors. So you could be in that position where you're pedaling, the motor's activated, and you can't stop it with those levers. It's a little bit more responsive, obviously, if you use the throttle, and it just kind of, springs back to the default position. Kind of a nice little upgrade. This is nuanced. There are little features about this bike that I really like that other sort of city bikes don't offer. It does come in a few different colors, so this nice light, kind of a baby blue. I think it's like an orange, soft orange, and soft yellow. So really vibrant, pretty almost, but it's only one frame size, about 19.5 inches on that seat tube. It feels all right with the saddle a little bit lower. It's a little more upright, but I'd still call this a forward body position. And the wheels are 700C, so it's kind of a 28-inch, more classic city style by 42. You can see they're a little bit fatter, gonna help absorb some of the bumps, but it's a little bit more abrasive, and I think that's a steel fork, so it dampens the vibration a little bit, but there's really no other suspension. No suspension fork, no suspension seat post. Kind of keep that in mind. One of the surprises for me on this bike is that they are using folding pedals. Plastic, not super firm, decent surface area, and okay traction, I guess, but I don't know if I need them to fold. I'd prefer something like the Welgo pedals. They're metal. They're just a little bit more stiff and rugged. I like that this actually has a kickstand that's adjustable length, so you don't have to lean this up against a wall all the time. That's what I mean. It's kind of city, but a little bit more utilitarian than that. Flick bell, some basic stuff. That's kind of a good overview. I like that you don't have to leave the keys in on this one. A lot of the other electro bikes you do, and it just kind of dangles, it gets in the way. So that's a pretty cool upgrade, and that the wires are all run through the frame, kind of see right there, so they stay a little bit more hidden. That is something that's nice compared to a do-it-yourself kit, right? You could get a 250 watt motor like this, 36 volt, 9 or 10 amp hour battery pack, And you could add it to your bike, but you'd have wires kind of hanging out, and you might not have as nice a pedelec. And then that Sturmey Archer, you know, coming back to $1,400, it's pretty decent in my opinion. So to get this bike going, you click the on the battery pack. There is a little LED battery level indicator, pretty basic right here. Again, no display up here. You won't know how fast you're going, how far you've gone, but maybe you don't care. And you can get a little cycle computer if you really want. So I think that's it. I'm gonna just start pedaling and, you know, let you see how responsive it is. Very nice. I call that very responsive, given that I was pedaling so slowly. Whoa. And again, that's because it's the 2-speed Sturmey Archer. I can't shift down to like a super low gear. So I did the little back pedal thing here. Kind of hear it click. Now I should be in like a little bit of a lower gear. Yeah. My steering is impacted a little bit because there's the added weight of that hub motor, probably like 6 to 8 pounds. I wasn't able to weigh it. And this is kind of a generic motor. It didn't say 8 fun or anything on there. But, you know, it's not a 350 watt. It's not 500. It's 250. It's smaller. And that means a little less power, maybe more efficiency, a little less weight bogging you down. Kind of parked on a bit of an incline here. I'm going to go ahead and hit that throttle and just see how it does. Starts out a little sluggish, but making it happen. Not bad. Whoa. Cool. There's that throttle again. It's nice to be able to hit that at any time and override assist. But on the other hand, there's really no time when, you know, to get assist off, there's no throttle only mode is what I'm saying. You basically have to turn the bike off if you want to pedal this like a normal bike. So keep that in mind. Depends on your intended use. I think they've done a pretty good job on this, and the price is decent, sort of what you'd expect. Okay, so I'm at the Santa Monica sort of flagship store in the United States here with Lamont. How's it going, buddy? Kind of a rep at this store. Has been helping me out all day. I really appreciate it. I wanted to show some of the other colors. So kind of see, this is the yellow, again, almost like an Easter egg type of color, a little bit softer. There's the blue one that we were looking at. No lights on this bike, but again, it's a city bike. You can slap some on if you needed to. And then there is the orange. So really pretty in this sea of sort of black and white. These city bikes are very cool. What are we looking at? Oh, is there white too? Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm gonna add that to the review. The white is also very nice, and this would be really visible at night, you know, if you're riding around the city wanting to be seen. So I like that a lot. I also noticed that when we were riding earlier, the throttle has an on-off switch. So if you want to, you can completely turn the throttle off, make it a pedal assist bike, and that would come in handy coming back to like how you use the throttle. If you're going over bumpy terrain and you're worried you're gonna bump that, you just shut it off temporarily. So it's very cool. And again, the kickstand, that's good stuff. Yeah, so that's the ElectroBike Light. For the full write-up on this and some of the other electro bikes, of course, you can go back to ElectricBikeReview.com. This company started in Mexico City in like 2012, so they've been around for a while. It's how they offer the good warranty, 1-year comprehensive, 7 years on the frame. They've got like 25 dealers, I think, in Mexico and a handful in the US. They offer rentals and stuff, so it's the kind of bike you can check out. You can go and get a little bit of service, and I like that. It's kind of neat, especially for something more affordable. But they also sell these online. So, you know, if you live somewhere there aren't really any bike shops around, you're looking for a value price bike, this could be a decent deal. Just remember, it's a little bit more rigid. It's kind of that city style like you'd expect. So yeah, as always, ride safe, have fun.